Preface. After many discussions and debates, many often reveal that the primary constraint to not embracing endless knowledge is the most valuable, unquantifiable, invisible resource known as time. In light of the circumstances, Economic Foundation Media has taken the liberty of reading, detailing, summarizing, and arguing the most crucial points of the George S. Clason's novel, The Richest Man in Babylon. Welcome. Why Babylon? Often so is our forefathers' knowledge left to ravel in the dust, among the tumbleweeds. However, it is due to the wisdom of those before us do we owe the day. For had they not labored in the fashion of so which rendered by the times, there would be no tomorrow and one's lineage cease to sprout. George S. Clason writes in this Encyclopedia of Finance, The Tales of Arcad, a man of humble beginnings tiring endlessly within the library of scholars, transcribing the texts on the tablets of clay. Arcad was not of any special endowment and had nothing to show for his labors for all the days in his years. Our scholarly fellow was assigned a meaningful task by an individual by the name of Algamesh, the moneylender, to copy the 9th law in 2 days, of which Arcad failed. Chapter 1. Fractional Earning. Arcad later became the richest man in Babylon following many score years of labor and teachings. As such, the king of Babylon instructed Arcad to educate the youth of Babylon of how to ensure financial security to build the richest city in the world. The young men of many backgrounds were graced with the presence of the richest man, proving the humanity of those above our own. Fed up with the lean purses of the days, the youth sat ready to listen to the knowledge of the ages. To pay yourself is, in short, to only set 9/10 of what you should make for expenses, saving 1/10 of what you earn. For a fat wallet does increase one's happiness. To what does a person owe this extra income? Chapter 2. The Proper Budget. The difference between a horse and a man is the man's ability to set the load of burden upon his back. For this reason is the cause of a budget not a line of servitude. Often found are the necessities we proclaim to so very much need, can easily be replaced or entirely forgotten. For is every man's income different, yet each does dig as deep in pockets in search of coin does the next. Though it is vital to understand that budgeting and limiting expenses be but two separate causes of equal importance, for one cannot exist without the other in true fashion. Chapter 3. Multiply. For now that a budget is set, can money begin to grow? Set your money to labor for you, for gold bringeth more gold. Clason offers the example of money lent to the moneylender. Of today, a bank, 10 silver in total, which grew to 30.5 pieces in 20 and 167 in 50 after the father had passed. Rich is the son due to the father's perspicacity of monetary diligence. Practice sound investments as to attain equal returns. Chapter 4. Sound investment. Invest in items sure to retain the principal as to regain the amount in case of adjustment or emergency. For a long, insured profit is far more valuable than one of short-term gain with large risk. Simple economics dictates the payoff benefit of game theory to be greater in the long term when accounting for risk. The chance of multiplication by the principal could produce less within the year than the same principal in a more secure selection. Furthermore, better judge those offering advice to you, for it is better to advise to the man holding experience and a rate of success than that of little wisdom and lots of hope. Aspirations are valuable indeed, though in other contexts. Chapter 5. Site development. No man may enjoy the riches life has to offer from within an underutilized plot. Arcad recommends that every man is to own the place of dwelling. Invest in your homes as the rich so do. Arcad then poses the question, is not the work of the stone, mason, bricklayer, and architects worth more to the plot than in separate workings? Indeed, then, is not the plot more valuable for the workings to be there? Also, are not the surrounding plots not more valuable for the latter? Even more so, Arcad reminds us of the importance of the investment in property, that our wives may enjoy the rewards of her selection and children to grow fruitful in enjoyment of childhood. The more rigid and structured the continuous development within our plot, the better the future may be for not only ourselves, but one's family as much so. Chapter 6. Proper Orientation. Rule 6 of Arcad's Gospel is to ensure a future income. Money stowed in a purse make the poor man happy, but profitable investments return far more utility to the rich man. Do not store away in fear then, Placing money in property, for example, delivers a way to return the principal and often large returns in the later years. Additionally, money lent to the moneylender bank grows in principal with respect to compound. RCAD then offers an early rendition of life insurance that is not feasible in the past times, though exists now. Be wary still to the true value of investments, retaining the true soundness of profitability through steady immersion. Chapter 7. Exponential Range. Increase your ability to learn continually. Better is the rewards on the front line of progress than left in the dust of the times. Keep your desires simple, concrete, and feasible. Desires without a grip in reality are but lucid dreams meant for another life. Training in something never to be attained or completed to fullness is useless. So then, in respect of oneself, complete every task completely and happily. Opportunity does not come often from the Lord, and further rewards will one attain post-success. Keep a will of record, so that if the Lord calls you home early, your estate will be secured in its continuation. Offer compassion to those less fortunate within reason, not out of false pity. Carry your family so that they may speak kindly of you. Not many ways are there to retain relevance outside the family structure. Pay debts early. Debts offer opportunity, but if forgotten or strung out, offer less marginal utility through time than the item in question. Develop yourself in every aspect. Time not spent in essence developing one's character will not be remembered or hold significance in days, for a preparedness is the best combat to the works of the Lady of Luck. Chapter 8. Blessed or Cursed Fortune. With sureness can I state the encounters of the Lady of Luck within the class of RCAD, and everyone walking in has walked the evergreen earth. Luck is a powerful force, and one that can offer rewards and promises within the casinos and rings of life. When asked initially if good luck has shown its blessings upon the class, none spoke to the occasion. When speaking of luck is not the coming to mind the betting tables, meeting an occasion to discuss all side of question and debate. This is a wonderful question and debate. This is a wonderful question. If the lady graces the tables, then does she then whisper amongst the horse races? What reason do we have to believe the goddess of love and dignity has any cause to care for us? Arcade believes the lady offers reward to the unfortunate and good workings of men. Perhaps not every time may one be rewarded, but persistence often offers profit. Though when the chances of profit are played, the keeper is always favored. For you must not forget, the gamekeeper's profits are of his business. For each cast offers 5 chances to lose, and 4 chances to win due to multiplier. Can a man win since the game is set to offer the keeper 1/5 of all profits wagered? Not one success can be named by RCAD through the gaming tables or lottery of today. Inquire to yourself then, who do you know of that starts his fortune from the gaming tables? There must then be other fields graced by our goddess of luck. Suppose we consider our trades and businesses. Is it then we consider our earnings and good trades rewards of our efforts? Or rather, are we overlooking the works of the lady so magnificent? Pertain then to the deals having to escaped us? Would we have considered these things of good fortune should they have occurred? RCAD offers a story of a proposed investment in land with aspirations to raise the waterbed and sell the plot in portions to the city folk. All offered men were to pay 1 scene of yearly incomes, then will be rewarded according to his contributions. Do what I should have done at thy age. From thy earnings, keep out 1/10 for investments in order to accumulate a valuable estate for oneself. Youth and the promise of time caused RCAD to flee from such a deal. Opportunity waits for no man. As other sayings go, pieces can be lost. RCAD's example is no different and give men the choice between gold and wisdom, and they will disregard wisdom and waste the gold. Let this fate not become of your future. Chapter 9. Laws of Gold. In the custom of Babylon, it was the custom of children to live with the parents to succeed the estate in time. RCAD does not approve of this tradition and set out his son to prove his worthiness to care for the estate, giving the son a bag of gold, clay tablet containing the 5 such laws of gold, and a deadline of 10 years to return and give account. Should the son interpret the laws and take care of the head start of the offering, fortune will beset the son to succeed in earning gold and procuring respect among men. In 10 years, the son returned to RCAD, bowing in wisdom. To wait is to be a vessel of your father's fortune. The returner spoke of initial loss of everything, joining a caravan, a gang of today's time, and hearing tales of a wondrous horse winning every single race and money to be made by joining in the wager. losing much of the gold, having been deceived by the caravan who reaped a lost gold, investing with a new partner who then fell short, causing the shop to plunder into oblivion, the son seeking employment and finding not. Remembering the confidence of the father, the son picked up the table of the carving of the words of wisdom and came to realize the true value of the wisdom of age, and not the experience of youth. For the sun rising in the time of forefathers is the same sun which had rose today and shall rise tomorrow. 1. Gold cometh plentifully to a man that puts aside not less than 1/10 of his earnings to secure an estate for himself and his family. 2. Gold labors diligently and contently for the wise owner that finds for it profitable employment, multiplying as the flocks of the field. 3. Gold clingeth to the man who invests in the guidance of men wise in its handling. 4. Gold slippeth away from the man who invests in those things not familiar or without the approval of those skilled in such field. 5. Gold flees the man who would force it to impossible earnings or who trusts schemers or his own romantic endeavors of investment and foolishness. Let these laws not flee you, for with these may you gain value greater than gold. Chapter 10. Invest not in promise, instead tokens. Another wise man, far removed from the time of Arcad, did offer advice to a slave, he of whom had asked the wise moneylender of a gift that did trouble him. The king had offered 50 coins to the slave, and the slave's sister had asked for a loan on the behalf of her successful, not husband. The wife claimed had the husband acquired the opportunity, rich would they be. The slave asked the moneylender what his deal process was and what to do with his funds. Rodin, the slave, was shown the consequences of deals made years ago, with the token saved in promise of repayment. The first piece of question was a lavish neckpiece, one purchased by a man head over heels for a woman to be wed soon. The wedding was not to be in security, as the woman murdered the man and committed shortly after due in regret. Next, a lavish rug of many colors, from a farmer that once repaid one loan to promise a secure deal in new sheep, with more fashionable wool to weave the most precious rugs ever to be had in the region. Knowing not of the sheep of far lands, the man purchased sickly sheep to be lost after, and the token kept. Lastly, a token from a young man who promised to create great fortune at the principal of the loan. Struck with poor fortunes, the young man was not to repay the debt, and the moneylender had not the heart to seize the land of the owner. All these stories found valuable the slave, but answer not the question of whether to loan to the sister's husband. To this, the moneylender his typical questions: what is your plan to amass fortune? Do you know the best vendor to secure capital at the best price? What knowledge have you of the field of interest? Do you know the location to secure the fairest price? Could he answer these questions unto me? To him shall I render the asked amount with a token? Regarding loan practices, loan, not the interest of romantic endeavors. Emotions are not pretenses, as they are often near-sighted. Additionally, youthful dreams are seldom realized quickly. Long-time investments are more desirable. Also, be wise to invest with a knowledgeable man, wise in the realm of sought trade. Also, be there many types of tokens. List them I may in summary. Chapter 11. Pretenses of obligation. The money you have earned is yours, earned and obligated to no one is your fortune. If you are wise, to keep money safe and to have to grow is your desire. Then should you ask if the loan should secure you both wishes. Much do I disdain lethargic money, but more so risk. Better a little caution than a big regret. Following this story is the invasion of Babylon. Many worried as to the strength of the walls and whether invasion would prove successful. The walls of Babylon did repel this foe once more, and due to its level of protection, many centuries of invasion did Babylon endure. The walls of securement have roots in nature and today remain true. Though they take the forms of saving accounts and money storage, we cannot afford to be without adequate protection. Chapter 12. Slavery of Debt. The hungrier one comes, the clearer one's mind works. Also, more sensitive does one become to the taste of food. There was a man, starved, resorted to thieving in the market, never before seeing the amount of food in the daily routines of the market. Running into a camel trader, one let down at the promise of repayment. Dabasir the trader did ask for the coppers and silver borrowed. Blaming misfortune did not allow for comfort, As Dabasir would not allow for comfort, as Dabasir would not have the lazy consequences be hoisted upon the god. Tarkad then was invited to dinner, of which he was ordered a water, while the trader did request a goat leg. As a telescope of many shapes, should you be able to see the world in a different color, the true view of the outside realm. Dabasir's tale does offer the pretense of being a slave in Syria, learning the crafting of saddles, earning little but to support his wife, loaning money in youth, unwise to the truth that one loaning more than he earned, seeking only romantic pleasure, and fated to meet the shame and misfortune to come, did Dabasir indulge in things beyond his means, finding that earnings cannot pay for debts and living. More debt did he accrue. His wife having left, Dabasir seeked another city for 2 years, landing himself in a band of thieves. Seeing the world through a colored stone, the fall was not apparent. Then captured by a chief, was the trader sold into slavery, finding some enjoyment in the life until the chief did allot the women a eunuch in Dabasir, hoping to find pity, but finding but glares as though he was a worm of the earth. Instead, the camel trader was spared, as eunuchs were in abundance, but camel tenders not. Having experience in camels, Dabasir rejoiced, then sharing his story with a woman of fortune. She then asked, "How can you call yourself a free man, but let your weakness do you so? Have you a soul of a slave? Should you become a slave? Should you become a slave in time, or a free man to earn the respect of others?" Finding no comfort in the slaves, the trader and the woman of his sparing sit apart, revealing that a woman wants nothing more than to be desired. If you let the years slip by with no attempt to repay, then you are a slave, never commanding respect. The woman, whether through pity or love, then gave raiment, camels, and provisions to run away to freedom. Happiness seeks not the wife that runs away to strange lands amongst strange people. And not did she follow the runaway slave, taking the 2 camels, trudging through stones, spearing feet with a merciless sun beating down. Falling off did the man, falling asleep until the morning. With no sign of water or food, death seemed closer, though a new sense of clarity did beset Dabasir, asking himself whether he have but a soul of a slave or a free man. A slave would fall and meet death gladly. Though a free man, he is to run back to repay his debts, find his wife, and stand his ground. Suddenly, all the world began of a different color, and the true values of life did glisten through. All debts are to be repaid. Make a home for the wife and family proud. Debts had become an enemy, but friends did lend in grace. What is hunger or thirst? Having found this new resolve, chugging north did Dabasir find water, food, and the road to Babylon. For a free man will work, and answers does he find, but a slave does whine and complain, for what am I due to in my hopelessness? For the soul of a free man looks at life as a series of problems to be solved. Does an empty stomach offer clarity? Then take the road to respect. Where the determination is, the way can be found. Seeking assistance, many did help the man of debts from the market. Being offered work, payment in full did he offer to everyone who loaned. Tarkay did find redemption and a new truth used by wise men many before his time. It will continue to hold for those who is wise enough to understand these lines. Where the determination is, the way can be found. Chapter 13. Literature. For a university did find the 5 laws on tablets from excavation of Babylon. After translation of long, did the men uncover the problem of the man Dabasir. Finding the world has not changed in 5,000 years as one is to expect. Finding the plans of the former slave to secure a true future. That man that keep gold and silver in his wallet is good to his family and king. The man with little is indifferent to both. The man with none is unkind to both family and king. Keep within your wallet as not to end as the ones of end, promising to pay 2/10 of all he earns to debts. Dabasir did tell all, however, remaining steadfast to keeping 1/10 of earnings to himself, only allotting 7/10 to daily expenditure. Much easiness will you find in repayment and payment to yourself, no matter your earnings. Recall again the line from the work of Robert Greene. The same sun that rose in the time of forefathers is the same sun rising today, and to again rise tomorrow. Wisdom does fleet as fast as youth. Many do find in future a message so important that it rose out of Babylon as true as the day it was buried. Chapter 14. True Luck. Hoping to help a young grandson of a friend, one wise man spoke to the youth as to not end as the father before him with inheritance. If you were allotted wealth, how would you live? Spending every shackle, investing not. Why wish the forefather's soul would remain on earth beyond its allotted time? For there is no special skill they had that you cannot possess in time. Traveling through Babylon 40 years ago, did the rich gray man see the same men plowing the field, formerly finding envy in the men, now finding success having no more sentimental feelings. Revealing that he was once a slave, the youth Sharonada could not grasp the transition of slave to wealthy trader. Any man may find himself a slave, for there are many paths to misfortune, far more than wealth and much quicker in demise. Masters do like good slaves and treat them well, though hard work is required and you cannot get ahead by shirking. No young man wants to be worked to death, though most times when buyers come, tell them you work hard for good master. If you do not make buy harder, labor does await thee. Coming along to the slave market, many dead slaves did the young man encounter. As many failed will you encounter in your endeavors, though they appear not slaves, but those constrained in plastic debt, dead-end jobs, and with no desire of improvement. Chapter 15. Mission Statement. Work well done does good to the man who does it, for it betters the man himself. If you think of the house you are to build, the burden of carry is not heavy. One with true purpose will seek his goals with a smile, for the pain of labor is of naught compared to the looming threat of failure. Many trades did the slave learn from his master, seeking more work and knowledge, learning to bake. No work to do is bad for any man. Seeking to earn coins to buy freedom, the slave sought employment for the afternoons, peddling the baked cakes and to share the profit with the owner, to earn a portion and save. At first, buy not did the people at the market, but as hunger set in, many did the slave sell. Much appreciative was the slave master. Upon calculating the amount of money to find freedom, did he encounter the grandfather of the unwise youth, saying, I like thy cakes, boy, but more still I like the enterprise thy peddle them. Thy enterprise will bring thy great fortune. Becoming a foreman to find the friend from the slave block, sharing in his stories of fortune. With this he did pose. Will thee rise to the occasion or live in false reality forever? Act like a free man and succeed as one. Act as though you seek to accomplish, and you will achieve it in work. Another slave is found with his master in debt. Why should a slave worry for his master? He is nothing of our importance. Though the moneylender holds the deed to sell the slaves, not wanting to lose a kind master, the other slave sought not to be traded. In youthful ignorance was the slave lost in debt of trade, finding not a kind master offering work and a chance at freedom, finding a plan of hard work not to be profitable in thought, though with the callous on hands heavier than the light heart of the other slave. For the other plan of the pirate in thieving and murder lends to the hanging. Was it work or the gods that brought success? The former master had called the slave back to Babylon, and off he went excited, besetting a man like a whirlwind, driving him like a storm, whose course no one can follow, whose destiny no one can foretell. Finding the old master Aruhula, who had hunted everywhere and was led to the slave by the friend of lightheartedness, seeking the slave not for work, but for business due to the success of enterprise, raising the tablet of servitude, throwing it into pieces. The willingness of work had saved one from slavery, and the youth's grandfather saved the former slave. Was work the secret key to the golden shackles? It was the only key of possession, responded the camel trader. The gods reward hard work diligently. Work attracts many friends and honors and all the things of approval. Work is not only fit for slaves, and though there are many pleasures, each has its place. Find enjoyment in work. Nothing else proves richer in opportunity. Chapter 16. Insight and Conclusion. Babylon offers us a tale of accomplishment with that man has at his disposal. Everything in the city was man-constructed, possessing just two natural resources, fertile soil and water. Engineers diverting water, in the first feat of such in history, to the crops. Most wars being defensive or local, conquest being of little. Enterprise, wisdom, and justice being the primary principles of Babylon. Without the true wisdom of years ago, the city crumbled and in waste, left now into ruins, possessing a climate of arid humidity and temperature. Expeditions financed by America and Britain found many city graves among hills, Babylon being one of the cities. All exposed walls disintegrated into earth, a heap of dirt abandoned and no one knowing the name until recovered from texts. Believing that this city is the oldest of record, having a record of an eclipse of the sun setting up our calendar and our own, proving 8,000 years ago the Sumerians lived in walls. Being educated and wise, not the fools we once assumed of old. Participating in terraforming of the swamp. The tiles of clay, baked into tile, had remained throughout the times, containing everything imaginable. Through the archive, scholars found estimates of the size of the walls, being said to 60 feet high and surrounded by a moat of water. Do not forget the knowledge the book offers us today, for wisdom does often outlive foolish youth. Cyrus attacked Babylon one age, but Babylon sought first the army of Cyrus. Losing the battle, the city was abandoned, deserted, and left to the wind to level. Though the city remains no more, the wisdom of Babylon endures.